Have you ever felt it? That strange, quiet ache that settles in not when you're alone, but when you are surrounded by people. You're at a dinner party, perhaps, or a meeting at work, or even just scrolling through the highlight reels of other lives online. Everyone seems to be playing a game with such earnest conviction. They are discussing promotions, home renovations, the right kind of school for their children, the proper way to invest, the correct opinion to have on the news of the day. And as you listen, a profound sense of alienation washes over you. It's as if you were given a script for a play, but you've lost your copy, and you can't for the life of you remember your lines. You smile, you nod, you say the expected things, but inside, a silent question echoes, "Is this it? Is this all there is?" There's a particular kind of exhaustion that comes from this, isn't there? It's the weariness of the actor who has been on stage for 40 years, playing a role they no longer believe in. You feel like a fraud, a ghost at the feast of life. You look at the confidence and certainty of others, and a small nagging voice whispers that you must be broken, defective, that you are missing some fundamental piece of the human software that allows everyone else to participate so seamlessly. But what if I were to propose something else entirely? What if that feeling of being an outsider, that deep, unshakable sense of wrongness, is not a symptom of your brokenness, but the first, tender sign of your awakening? What if the problem isn't that you don't understand the rules of the game, but that you are one of the few who are beginning to see that it is a game? Imagine a grand cosmic theater. From the moment we are born, we are handed a costume and a role. You are a son, a daughter, a success, a failure, a patriot, a rebel. And the play, this grand human drama, has a set of unspoken rules. We could say there are at least 7 of them, 7 foundational agreements that keep the show running smoothly. The audience and the actors have all tacitly agreed to believe in the reality of the stage, the props, and the dialogue. They have forgotten that they are performers. But you've started to notice the flimsy painted backdrop. You've caught a glimpse of the stagehands moving in the shadows. You've started to hear the hollow echo of the recited lines. Your feeling of dislocation isn't a personal failing, it is the natural response of a sane mind to a collective hypnotic trance. You are not losing your mind, you are beginning, just barely, to find it. So let's talk about this play, the great social drama. The first unwritten rule that keeps it all going is that the game must be taken absolutely seriously. The accumulation of tokens, money, status, followers, degrees, is presented not as a game, but as the very meaning of life. The scoreboard is everything. From a very young age, you are taught the metrics of success. You must climb a ladder, but no one ever tells you what you'll find at the top, other than the next ladder. You must be better than the person next to you. You must acquire, secure, and defend. The entire system is built on this premise of serious competition. And the people who are masters of this game, they are celebrated. They are put on the covers of magazines. They are held up as models of a life well lived. They have followed the rules and they have won. But you, in your quiet moments, have started to question the prize itself. You have achieved some of the things you were told would make you happy, only to find the feeling was fleeting, a brief sip of water that left you just as thirsty as before. You look at the winners and see a deep anxiety in their eyes, the frantic fear of losing their place on the leaderboard. Your supposed apathy, your lack of cutthroat ambition, isn't a weakness. It is your soul's rebellion against a game whose prizes are made of smoke. Your exhaustion comes not from playing and losing, but from the immense draining effort of pretending that you care about the score. You are like a musician forced to play a song that is horribly out of tune, and your discomfort is simply a sign that you still have a sense of pitch. The second unwritten rule of this collective trance is that you must choose a side. You must be for us or against us, right or left, good or evil, success or failure. The mind of the society game is a binary mind. It functions by splitting reality into opposing teams and then demanding your absolute loyalty to one of them. This is how the drama is maintained. Without heroes and villains, without the righteous and the damned, the plot would fall apart. Look around. The entire architecture of our public discourse is built on this principle. You are defined not by the wholeness of your being, but by the labels you accept and the enemies you renounce. And if you refuse to play, if you say, "But I see some wisdom on this side and some on that side," if you suggest that the hero and the villain might be two masks worn by the same actor, well, then you become a threat. You are dangerous because you expose the artificiality of the conflict. Your inability to feel passionate, blind loyalty to a tribe, a political party, or an ideology is not a sign of moral weakness. It is the blossoming of a more complex and holistic consciousness. You are beginning to see the world not as a battlefield of opposites, but as a dance of polarities. You see that you cannot have a front without a back, a top without a bottom, a light without a shadow. To insist on having only the good half of life is to wage war against reality itself. Your frustration with the shouting, the certainty, and the endless tribal warfare is not cynicism. It is the quiet clarity of a mind that is outgrowing the need for a villain to define its own virtue. This leads us to the third, and perhaps most pervasive, unwritten rule, the illusion of the fixed self. You must be a someone. You must construct a solid, consistent identity and then spend the rest of your life defending it. This identity, your ego, is a collage of your past experiences, your beliefs, your accomplishments, your wounds, and the opinions of others. And the rule is that this collage is you. You are your job title. You are your political affiliation. You are your history of successes and failures. And this you is a very fragile thing. It needs constant validation. It needs to be right. It lives in a state of perpetual, low-grade fear, fear of being wrong, of being shamed, of being seen as inconsistent. The entire social game is a hall of mirrors where these fragile egos reflect and validate one another. I will believe your mask is real if you believe mine is. This is the unspoken contract. And your pain, your social anxiety, it comes from the fact that you have started to feel the mask on your own face. It feels tight, artificial, and heavy. You have moments where you act or speak, and a voice inside asks, "Who is saying this? Is this really me?" That feeling of being a fraud, which you interpreted as a personal flaw, is actually the most honest thing about you. It is the authentic self, the deep awareness beneath the mask, recognizing the costume for what it is. Your struggle to be yourself is paradoxical because the very self you are trying to be is the construction you're trying to escape. The liberation begins when you stop trying to be a better version of the mask and instead become curious about the face underneath. The problem was never that you couldn't build a strong enough ego. The problem was that your consciousness was too vast to be contained in one. And here we find the fourth unwritten law of the universe that the game tries so desperately to conceal. You are not in control. The social project is a monumental effort to deny this fundamental truth. We build 5-year plans, retirement funds, secure borders, and elaborate belief systems, all in an attempt to manage the wild, unpredictable dance of existence. The message is, if you work hard enough, plan meticulously enough, and worry enough, you can tame the chaos. You can force the river of life to flow according to your blueprint. And when it doesn't, when illness strikes, when relationships end, when the market crashes, The game tells you it was a failure of your strategy. You didn't try hard enough. You didn't believe strongly enough. But you have felt the awesome, terrifying, and ultimately beautiful power of this uncontrollable flow. You have made your plans, only to watch a single, unexpected event render them obsolete in an afternoon. You have tried to hold on to a feeling of happiness, only to feel it slip through your fingers like sand. You have tried to resist a wave of sadness, only to find yourself exhausted and submerged. Your so-called laziness or procrastination may not be a character flaw at all. It might be a deep, organismic wisdom. It's the wisdom of the sailor who doesn't fight the wind, but adjusts the sails. It's the wisdom of the farmer who doesn't curse the winter, but understands it as a necessary part of the cycle. You have been told your whole life to push the river. Your weariness is the simple, honest result of this impossible task. The beginning of peace is not to push harder, but to let go of the oar, and to notice, for the first time, the direction the current is already taking you. It's the discovery that what you were fighting was never your enemy. It was the very intelligence of life itself. This surrender reveals the fifth rule, one that terrifies the ego but liberates the soul. Everything is impermanent. The social game is a game of clinging. We cling to youth, to relationships, to our identities, to our possessions, to moments of pleasure. We operate as if we could build a permanent fortress of mine in the middle of a flowing river. We build museums for our past and detailed blueprints for our future, all to distract from the ever-present, ever-changing now. This clinging is the root of so much of our suffering. We suffer not because things change, but because we expect them not to. Your profound sensitivity to loss, your deep melancholy when you witness the passage of time, is not a morbid obsession. It is a sign of your clarity. You are not deluded by the fantasy of permanence. You feel the truth in your bones, that life is a series of hellos and goodbyes. That every beautiful sunset is beautiful precisely because it is fleeting. That every note of music is meaningful because it is followed by silence. The others, the players of the game, are so busy trying to photograph the sunset, to record the music, to possess the experience, that they miss the experience itself. They are trying to turn the river into an ice cube. Your pain, your grief, your anxiety about the future, these are not signs of a weak mind. They are the feelings of a tender heart that is open to the bittersweet truth of reality. The freedom is not in successfully holding on, but in learning to love the dance of appearing and disappearing. It is to become like the sky, which allows the clouds to come and go without trying to grasp a single one. So, if the game is a pretense, if the self is a mask, if control is an illusion, and if everything is in flux, where can truth be found? This brings us to the sixth unwritten rule. A rule so simple it is almost always overlooked. Wisdom is found in silence, not in noise. The modern world, the great social game, is a cacophony. It is a constant bombardment of information, opinions, advertisements, and alarms. You are told that to be informed, you must consume more. To be wise, you must have an opinion on everything. To be connected, you must be constantly available. The system thrives on your distraction. It keeps you so busy processing the noise that you never have a moment to listen to the silence underneath. But you have felt a pull towards that silence. You have felt a deep need to unplug, to be alone, to simply sit and do nothing. And you have probably been made to feel guilty for it. You've been called lazy, antisocial, or unproductive. But that pull toward stillness is the most intelligent impulse you have. It is the compass of your soul pointing true north. Because in the silence between your thoughts, in the quiet space beneath the psychic static, is where everything real resides. It is where you hear your own intuition, where you feel the deep, slow rhythm of your own being. It is where you realize that you don't need to find the answers, because the answers are already there, waiting in the quiet for you to stop shouting long enough to hear them. Your desire for solitude is not a rejection of the world. It is a pilgrimage to the center of it. It is an act of profound sanity in a world gone mad with noise. And in that silence, after you have seen through the game, peeled back the mask, surrendered to the flow, accepted impermanence, and learned to listen, you arrive at the seventh and final unwritten rule. This is the great secret, the punchline of the cosmic joke. And the rule is this: you are it. You are not a lonely, separate fragment cast into a hostile universe. You are not a little, anxious ego trapped inside a bag of skin. The feeling of separation that has haunted you your entire life is the primary illusion of the game. You are the universe experiencing itself. You are not a wave in the ocean, you are the entire ocean in the act of waving. Think about it. When you look at a star, where does the seeing happen? Is it in the star? Is it in your eye? Is it in your brain? The experience of seeing the star is a single, unified event that includes all of it. The division between observer and observed is just a convenient fiction of our language. There is only the process, the happening, the dance. The consciousness that looks out through your eyes is the very same consciousness that's looking out through mine. It's the same consciousness that grows the trees and shines the sun. The whole game of society is predicated on forgetting this. It requires you to believe you are a lonely, competing unit so that you will strive, fear, and consume. Your deep, persistent feeling of connection to nature, your moments of empathy where you feel another's pain as your own, your inexplicable sense of awe when you look at the night sky, these are not sentimental fantasies. These are moments of lucidity. They are leaks in the prison wall of the ego, moments when you remember your true identity. The profound loneliness you felt in the middle of the crowd was not because you were separate from them, it was because you were experiencing the pain of a universe that had temporarily forgotten it was one. So where does this leave you? You have woken up from the dream, only to find yourself in a world full of sleepwalkers. A certain loneliness is inevitable. It is the loneliness of the mountain peak. The air is thinner up here, and the crowds are gone. But the view is everything. You no longer need the validation of the other players. Their praise and their criticism are just sounds in the play. You no longer need to win the game, because you see the prize is imaginary. A strange and wonderful peace begins to settle in. It is not the boisterous happiness that the game promises, but a quiet, unshakable okayness with what is. You can play the game when necessary, you can pay your taxes, go to work, make small talk, but you play it as a game, with a wink and a smile. You are an actor who knows they are an actor, and this knowing changes everything. You develop a deep compassion for the other players who are still so lost in their roles, so terrified of the plot. You see their anger and their fear not as personal attacks, but as the cries of a sleeping soul caught in a nightmare. You stop trying to change them or wake them up because you understand that everyone must wake up in their own time. Instead, you become a silent, peaceful presence, a lighthouse. You don't chase after the ships, you just stand and shine. And so, the next time you feel that old ache, that sense of being an alien on a foreign planet, don't push it away, don't pathologize it, don't numb it. Let it be there. Welcome it as a friend, a reminder from your deepest self. Let it be the bell of mindfulness that awakens you from the trance yet again. Ask it, what are you showing me? Which of the unwritten rules am I seeing through right now? See that pain not as a sign of your inadequacy, but as a measure of your clarity. It is the price of your vision. It is the growing pain of a consciousness that is expanding beyond the tiny, prefabricated box that society built for it. You are not broken. You are not lost. You are not failing. You are simply, finally, beginning to see. And in a world of beautifully earnest actors, there is nothing more radical, more liberating, and more profoundly powerful than to be the one who has woken up to the sublime and ridiculous truth of it all. You are not just watching the dance. You are the dance itself.